let's say that this plot is perfect. It's exactly what we want. It's exactly what we'd like to show at a meeting or put in a presentation. Well, even if the data is represented perfectly, it might not look perfect. It might not conform to the company's styles or their color scheme or whatever other appearance differences you'd like. Well, to modify those, we've added the Appearances window, which can be found by going into the Tools dropdown in the Channel Selector window and clicking Appearances. As you can see, pop-up appears with all sorts of options. First are grid lines. As you can see, if you toggle grid lines, the grid lines on the plot will go away or reappear. If you toggle tick markers, the markers on the X and Y axis go away, the ticks, as well as their labels, and the grid lines are disabled. When tick markers are disabled, grid lines are automatically disabled and cannot be enabled until tick markers are enabled again. Now after that we have our line preferences. First we have line 1. We have two options to change here. Our style of the line itself. So right now we have solid. If we change it to dashed, you can notice that the X acceleration, or line 1, is now represented as dashes. The other option is this color sample. Blue, this is the color of the line itself, blue. If you click on it, a color selection dialog will appear. This allows you to select what type of color you'd want, for example, green, or even it'll allow you to specify specific RGB values. So if I wanted 0.1, 0.2, 0.7, this blue, I can do that. And as you see, it went from a light blue to a dark blue. This can be done for any of the lines. Line 1, 2, 3, and 4 are given. Line thickness is how thick all of the lines are. So if we were to change this from 0.5 to 3, you can see that all the lines are much, much thicker. I'll just change that back. Now, after that, we have the figure background color. It's important to distinguish between that and the one after that, which is plot background color. So figure background color is the background of the actual figure itself, not of the plot being with data on it. So if you see, you can click this, select, let's say, a slightly darker gray, and you can see that only that changes. Now, plot background color, we can change that to also be slightly darker, and you'll notice that that darkens as well. Those are independent. These are the samples to see what the color would look like if this was not open. Now, the color map selection pertains specifically to spectrogram and waterfall plots. This is a good time to mention how these preferences are applied to plots. When producing a new plot, all preferences that are specified will be applied to that plot. This can be seen when I load a new spectrogram on the x-axis of acceleration, and we can see that the background colors are the same as we specified. So they are the same color gray as they are here. If you have multiple plots open and you want to apply an appearance setting to just one of these plots, that can be done as well. To do so, you select the plot that you'd like to modify, and that can be done by clicking on it, or if a plot has been opened since a plot has been clicked on, that will become the selected plot. So after a plot has been selected, you're able to change an appearance setting, like the figure background color again, for example. Let's make it extra dark. It will only be applied to the one that is selected. Now that we understand how appearance settings are applied, we can look at the next one, which is color map selection. Color map selection specifically applies to spectrogram and waterfall plots and can be visualized by the sample underneath it. So as you can see, that sample shows how the color will vary as the magnitude of the value that it represents changes. So this is the plasma color map. If you were to change it to jet, you can see that it's changing there as well. So if we select on our spectrogram and we change this to Perula, we can see it changing. Or if we were to change it to HSV, we can see that as well. Now, after that, we have our figure height and figure width, which change our figure height and figure width respectively. Next, we have the annotation section. First is a toggle for the legend, which just makes it appear or disappear. Next are the preferences for the text. First, we have this color sample, which is also clickable and allows us to change the color of the text. For example, to make it a dark green. Then we have the font selection button. This allows us to change the font. Let's say we'd want to put it into Times New Roman. We want to make it bold and italic and size 14. As you can see, it will do exactly that. Now, lastly, we have 3 overrides, which allow you to override what is said in the title, the label for the x-axis, and the label for the y-axis. For example, if we wanted to add a custom title, all we need to do is put the text we'd like to be displayed here and press enter. As you can see, now it displays the title that I want. Same can be done with the x-axis and the y-axis. Any future plots will conform to the settings that are set in these appearances until the channel selector has been closed.